Picture this. You're standing at the beginning of a new year, your resolutions listed, your goals set. But come December, you find that most of these goals remain untouched. Sound familiar? Well, the 12-week year by Brian P. Moran proposes a solution that might just turn your world upside down. Alright, let's take a step back and look at the traditional approach to yearly planning. We set our goals at the beginning of the year, often with the best of intentions. However, as the months roll by, we realize that our objectives have been sidelined by the hustle and bustle of daily life. The challenges? Procrastination, lack of focus, and the constant struggle to maintain momentum. By the time December rolls around, we wonder where the year went and why our goals remain elusive. Enter the 12-week year, a game-changing book by Brian P. Moran. Moran isn't your typical author. With years of experience in management and consulting, he brings a unique perspective to the table. His book, The 12-Week Year, doesn't just challenge the status quo, it shatters it. Moran proposes an unconventional approach to goal setting and achievement. Instead of considering a year as 12 months, he suggests we view it as a span of 12 weeks. This shift in perspective, he argues, can create a sense of urgency and focus that is typically lacking in traditional yearly planning. The beauty of this approach is its simplicity. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about setting attainable goals, maintaining focus, and fostering accountability. And the best part? You see results faster. In a world where we're constantly racing against the clock, the 12-week year offers a fresh take on productivity and achievement. It challenges the notion that goals are long-term endeavors and instead introduces the concept of short-term, actionable objectives. Why wait a whole year to realize your goals could be achieved in just 12 weeks? Now you're probably wondering, how can I possibly achieve a year's worth of goals in just 12 weeks? It's simpler than you might think. Let's dive into the concept of the 12-week planning cycle as proposed in The 12-Week Year by Brian P. Moran. This approach challenges the traditional yearly planning, and it does so by compressing your timeline. Instead of setting goals for a full year, you're breaking it down into 12-week chunks. Now, why is this beneficial? Well, it brings a sense of urgency and focus to your activities. When you have an entire year ahead of you, it's easy to procrastinate or lose sight of your goals amidst daily distractions. But when you only have 12 weeks, each day, each hour becomes precious. Let's imagine you're a writer and your goal for the year is to write a novel. If you're operating on a yearly plan, you might think, I have plenty of time, I'll start next month. And before you know it, half the year is gone and you've barely written a chapter. But with a 12-week plan, you're thinking, I need to write a certain number of pages each day to finish my novel within 12 weeks. There's no time for procrastination, you're motivated to start right away. It's like setting a marathon runner on a sprinter's track. The finish line is visible, it's within reach. This visible finish line makes the goal seem more tangible, more achievable. It's not some distant dream anymore, it's a reality that you're actively working towards. But it's not just about speed, it's also about agility. A 12-week cycle allows for quicker feedback and adjustment. If something isn't working, you can pivot without losing too much time. It's an iterative process of planning, executing, learning, and improving. So, you see, this 12-week cycle isn't about cramming a year's work into 3 months. It's about focusing your efforts, maintaining momentum, and constantly moving forward. With the 12-week year, you're not just dreaming about the finish line, you're sprinting towards it. Now, let's shift gears and talk about how the 12-week year applies to you and your organization. Imagine a world where procrastination is a thing of the past. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, Brian P. Moran's The 12-Week Year offers a framework that could make this a reality. By condensing our goals into a 12-week span rather than a full year, we're encouraged to take immediate action. There's no time to dilly-dally when your year is only 3 months long. So how does this apply to you as an individual? Well, let's say you have a goal to start a fitness regimen. Instead of saying, I'll go to the gym more this year, you say, I'll go to the gym 3 times a week for the next 12 weeks. Suddenly, your goal is more tangible, immediate, and dare I say, achievable. Now let's take this concept to an organizational level. Imagine you're a manager and you've set a revenue target for the year. Instead of waiting until Q4 to realize you're off track, with the 12-week year, you're assessing and adjusting every 3 months. It's like having a GPS for your goals. But it's not all about business and fitness. This concept can be applied to any area of your life. Want to learn a new language? Dedicate a set amount of time each week for 12 weeks. Want to declutter your home? Break it down room by room over 12 weeks. The beauty of the 12-week year is in its flexibility. You can tailor it to suit your needs, no matter how big or small your goals may be. But remember, it's not a magic solution. It requires commitment, discipline, and a willingness to step outside your comfort zone. To quote a line from the book that really resonated with me, "Greatness is not achieved by doing things the way they've always been done. So why not shake things up a bit? Try a new approach. You might just surprise yourself with what you can achieve." The 12-week year isn't just a concept, it's a game changer for anyone willing to embrace it. Just like any other concept, the 12-week year isn't without its fair share of criticisms and limitations. Firstly, critics argue that the 12-week planning cycle might be too short to achieve significant goals. For instance, launching a new business, mastering a new language, or losing a substantial amount of weight may not be feasible within a 12-week timeframe. However, it's crucial to remember that the intent of this system isn't to complete huge projects in one cycle, but rather to break down larger goals into manageable, bite-sized tasks that can be accomplished within 12 weeks. Secondly, some argue that the idea of treating each week as a month could lead to unnecessary pressure and stress. It's true, the concept does demand a high level of commitment and discipline. But let's flip the coin here. This approach also serves to eliminate procrastination and encourages one to stay focused and driven, ultimately leading to a higher productivity rate. Another criticism is the risk of burnout. By constantly working at a high pace, there's a chance of exhaustion, both mentally and physically. This is a valid concern. However, the book emphasizes the importance of maintaining a work-life balance and incorporating rest periods within the 12-week cycle. It's all about pacing yourself and not losing sight of your overall well-being while chasing your goals. Lastly, some critics suggest that the 12-week year might not be applicable in all situations or professions. For instance, teachers, farmers, or scientists working on long-term research projects might find it challenging to apply this methodology. This is true to some extent. The key is to adapt the concept to fit your unique circumstances, rather than strictly adhering to a 12-week cycle. But remember, no concept is perfect. It's all about finding what works best for you. So does the 12-week year live up to its hype? It's time to crack the nutshell and spill the beans. Firstly, let's rewind a bit. We've delved into the book's unconventional approach of swapping annual planning with a 12-week cycle. The author, Brian P. Moran, surely makes a compelling case. He argues that the traditional yearly planning is akin to running a marathon without a finish line in sight. In contrast, a 12-week cycle is more like a sprint. Focused, intense, and result-driven. Moran also introduces practical tools and techniques to make this shift happen. He talks about the importance of having a clear vision, setting actionable goals, and keeping track of progress. He emphasizes the power of commitment, control, and consistency. The book is replete with real-life examples that demonstrate the effectiveness of these principles. Now let's talk about the book's effectiveness in goal achievement. Here's the deal. If you're someone who's struggling with procrastination or lack of focus, this book could be your game changer. The 12-week planning cycle forces you to be more accountable and keeps you on your toes. It encourages you to break down your goals into manageable chunks and celebrate small wins along the way. Moving on to the author's writing style. Moran's prose is clear, concise, and engaging. He avoids jargon and explains complex concepts in simple, everyday language. The book is structured logically and flows smoothly from one chapter to the next. Having said that, I encourage you to pick up a copy of The 12-Week Year and give it a read. Experiment with its principles and see if they work for you. Remember, it's not about blindly following a formula, but about finding what resonates with you and adapting it to your unique circumstances. In the end, The 12-Week Year isn't just a book, it's a journey towards efficiency and productivity. And it's a journey worth taking.